This is a scene I found in the DiCaprio film Inception. It's a pretty amazing film, and while not really similar to the Matrix series, it does make you think about similar ideas once you watch it. It basically plays around with the idea of whether this world is just a dream, an illusion, and generally deals with the dream versus reality kind of concept. Now the scene, this scene shows a very interesting concept. It's something that only an indigo child or adult will understand fully, because they'll most certainly have been through something like this in their lives at some point. It's a phenomenon that anyone other than a light worker / indigo would likely find absurd. However, many of you watching this video will understand exactly what I'm referring to. So let's just play it now, and we'll comment on it later on.
Someone else is creating this world. And we can change things. Quickly, the projections start converging. So there's sense of human nature. They attack the white blood cells, finding an infection.
They're going to attack us?
No. Just you.
Now, before we get into it, I want to give you a bit of background as to where they are and what we actually saw in the film. Well, without spoiling it too much for those who haven't watched it yet, but unfortunately I do have to do a bit of explaining. Basically they're in a dream. They are in DiCaprio's character's dream, and the people they're seeing on the street, on the roads there, are projections. That's why they refer to them as projections, because they're not real. It's a dream world. It's his dream, and without saying too much, without spoiling it, the point is, and a lot of you probably would have watched this film already. People that are watching this video would have probably watched this film. Most of you. So anyway, you would know that. The point is that they have these people that are trained to go in people's dreams and do all sorts of stuff like extract information, etc., etc. That's basically the main story, the main plot of the film. That's the theme that it's based on. So he's training this girl now, and they're in DiCaprio's dream, basically in his subconscious. So now, what that scene said to me, I mean, how it fits in with, I mean, what I'm going to start explaining from here on, is, I don't know, somehow I just noticed that it basically, it was a thinly veiled sort of allusion to something that happens, that really happens in this world. Now, like I said before, that's why I had to say that I had to warn you that a lot of people might find this strange. The ones that are not of the light worker / indigo blueprint or wavelength would likely find this absurd. But the thing is, I'll just keep going on and tell you what I read into this scene. It's quite lengthy. It's pretty interesting, and it sort of ties in with the Matrix and a little bit with a bit of a concept from Harry Potter as well, believe it or not. But anyway, let's get into it properly now. Okay, now, first of all, as he called them, the projections, which we can liken to the masses or quote-unquote sheeple of our world, he said the projections can sense the foreign nature of the dreamer, who of course represents the Lightworker / Indigo archetype. And then, as I said, they converge on the dreamer, attacking like white blood cells, fight an infection. Now, much like the dreamers in the film, Lightworkers have the amazing ability to be able to create their life circumstances, to, in a sense, remold this reality by the power of their minds, or by the power of our minds. Now, while we're seeing that the masses are only just starting to learn about the power of the mind from books like The Secret, etc., the Indigos, on the other hand, appear to be naturally gifted in this area. This is not to say that only light workers have the ability to mold their lives as they see fit through the power of their mind, but it's apparent that things like visualization, affirmations, power of positive thinking, etc., etc., these things, they come much easier to the Indigos. That's just a fact. So pretty much Indigos are born with an innate ability to create with the power of their mind, and the ability can be developed pretty easily. I mean, an Indigo doesn't really need to study up on these things too much at all. It's as if they're born knowing these things already, almost. Well, now I can be talking for hours as to why this is so. And the types of people who watch my videos probably know the reason already. But just briefly, for those who don't know, who might not know this, I'll say that the reason for this is that Lightworkers have studied these things many times in previous lifetimes. So when a person's born as an Indigo, all they need to do is brush up on these things. You can't have something for nothing in this universe, definitely not. So while no one's more special than anybody else, necessarily, there are marked differences in talents and abilities among people, however, because every single individual has, they've got vastly different experiences during previous incarnations. That much is clear if you study up on this kind of thing. Now, the Lightworkers are the old souls, quote-unquote old souls, who have had more experiences than the majority of the people living on Earth, and they're ahead in their understanding of the mind and of the spirit. So certainly this explains why we are here to teach, because we know a thing or two, you see. However, even though the Indigo child or adults here to teach, to help and to teach, they're not always welcomed with open arms by the masses. That's the problem. And I think that's basically the exact concept that's shown in this scene. I mean, it mirrors this exact thing that happens in real life here. Well, whether this is real life, that's under debate anyway, but in this matrix that we think is real, it's more real than the movie anyway. So the sheeple can subconsciously sense the power of the Lightworker, and without even really knowing why, they instinctively attack us. Just like it says in the scene, they sense the foreign nature of the dreamer. Now, I know many people hearing this will resonate with it if they've gone through something like this. You see, because I've felt it all my life, being attacked by negative people, I mean, of course, some of you watching this may think it's normal to encounter negativity from people and all this, but I'm not referring to the normal occurrences here. I'm not just talking about average negativity and put downs. We all go through that. It's part and parcel of life. Some of you that are watching this might be thinking that. But I'm not being paranoid when I say that I've had this happen to me all my life. I mean, to a degree that makes you think, what is going on here? Am I being singled out? There's something wrong. And the thing is, I've spoken about this thing with other people, close friends of mine, who are also Indigos. And they were amazed and they were very relieved when I told them, when we spoke about it, because they were glad that they weren't the only ones going through this, and quite relieved that they weren't imagining things after all. Because this is a real phenomenon and it happens to Lightworkers all the time. I mean, it's kind of like the Muggles from J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter universe. This is the Harry Potter reference that I mentioned before. Who are the Muggles are the ordinary people that cannot understand magic. They're portrayed in the Harry Potter universe as almost always being antagonistic towards the people that do understand magic. they're always negative. It's almost as if they have a hatred for the magic folk, or whatever the name is for the opposites of the Muggles. I don't know if there's a term. So I feel that the exact same concept is shown in this scene of Inception here. I mean, and the concept is definitely based on reality, because light workers do have the quote-unquote superpower of being able to create a new reality on Earth by their thoughts alone. I mean, the whole thing with the Aquarian age, really, the bottom line is that mankind is making a quantum leap at this time, and we are destined one day to become co-creators with God. I mean, if we take this idea if we take the idea to the extreme, apparently we will eventually become creator gods in the future. Now, to what extent, who knows? But definitely there is a step up happening here. You know, we're advancing. It's an age where we're advancing. Our creative powers basically are advancing, and they're advancing in the mental sphere. You know, creating physical stuff, technology, and so forth. You know, I believe we've reached the pinnacle of that. You know, so now we're reaching a new era. It's a new stage of human evolution. Basically, where you know, our minds will be catapulted to the next level, where we will be able to basically steer our destiny and create. I mean, who knows how far it could go? I mean, you know, I'm not talking about science fiction type of Jedi stuff, you know, telekinesis or whatever. It's basically the simple stuff, you know. Visualization, affirmations, etc. You know, like I said, we can take it to the extreme, being creator gods. I mean, whatever that really entails. But basically, we only have a small but growing percentage of the population at this moment that has the ability to change their life and reality through tools like visualization, affirmations, etc., etc. I mean, these things now, they seem pretty innocent, but a few centuries ago, they would burn people on the stake. They used to burn people on the stake for studying stuff like that. But anyway, the sheep will sense this on some level and attack the spiritually advanced people through a subconscious impulse that they cannot really explain. See, whereas the indigos can change this reality through the power of their mind, the masses are largely victims of circumstance and either can't do this at all, or they can't do it anywhere near as well as light workers can anyway. See the indigos, they've come to the world during this period in order to transform it and uplift it to a higher level of existence, as we said. It's not going to happen on its own, this Aquarian age thing that we mentioned before, this evolution. I mean, it's like a give and take thing, you know. There are the energies coming in that predispose us to reach, that will help us reach this growth, but there are certain people that actually have come here in this, you know, probably this the past 2 or 3 generations, especially since the 70s and onwards, you know. Well, technically that's when a massive influx of indigos began anyway, mid-80s, but there have always been indigos before that. It's just that it started happening systematically since 84, I think it was, apparently. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I mean, we have this Aquarian vibration, Aquarian energy coming in, whatever you want to call it. We don't really know what it is, but apparently it's just causing, you know, a new type of thinking. It's just a different vibration. This is just transforming the planet, but we don't just sit on our behinds and wait for it to change, you see. So that's where indigos come in. They are conscious creators. It's a free will. It's all based on free. It's a free will game. So the more people take action, and through the power of, you know, through their will power, through the concentrated power of their mind, and through taking action, if, you know, people are doing all these things and working towards changing the world and making a better place, well, that's how you get the transformation that is supposed to be the age of Aquarius. I mean, 2012 is nothing. You know, it's not just going to happen on its own. That's just a window of opportunity. I believe I've spoken about this kind of thing on another video. The Atlantean origin of the Illuminati, part 4, the 4-part series. I went into a bit of a tangent about this same topic, but anyway, whenever I talk about 2012, I sort of make a point to explain that it has to be a concentrated effort. We can't just sit back, I mean, and wait for the world to change on its own. So anyway, so the whole point is there is a very small percentage of people that are able to bring in this change and have and are taking action towards this, and you know, the rest of the people can pick it up, and a lot of the time we get attacked. The light workers just get attacked suddenly, and the people, as we said, the people attacking them don't even know why. They know something's wrong, but they can't explain why they're doing it, because it's an instinctive thing, you see. Now, if we liken this reality we live into a dream, just like it showed on the scene, or a hologram, which is a concept. I mean, this concept is talked about a lot on the net these days, and it's gaining popularity. Yet we have the indigos coming in droves, and they're changing the planet in every conceivable way. So the hologram, or the dream, whatever you want to see it as, whatever you want to call it, it perceives this as a threat to its very existence. And indeed it is a threat. The problem with this, however, is that the masses, and here we get to the meat of the whole theory. Now, well, theory, it's not my theory, it's just, this is what I believe is shown in the film, in this scene. So the problem is that the masses are a part of the hologram. You see, they can't exist without it, or act independently of it, and they feel insecure if their reality is challenged. This echoes what Morpheus says to Neo in The Matrix, by the way, about the people that haven't been unplugged. And I quote, Morpheus says, "Anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent," he said to Neo. So the vast majority is resisting the influx of the high vibrations that we indigos are bringing in, because for them, protecting this matrix or hologram or dream world that we call reality is inextricably linked with their self-preservation instincts. They can't create any reality like the indigos can, but rather they're more like embedded, if you will, within this current hologram. You know, think of them as being extensions of the hologram. They're the hologram's mouthpieces in a way. So those of you who have felt this resistance, this negativity all your lives, know that it is a dream itself, the hologram that is attacking you, and not the specific individuals. As we said earlier, whenever the sheeple or the muggles, as they're called in Harry Potter, attack light workers for no apparent reason, they themselves don't even know why they're doing it. since it's a subconscious impulse. It's basically a subconscious impulse I have. So really, we could say that it's a collective unconscious that is attacking the light worker, and we would actually be 100% accurate in saying this too. And now I'm going to leave you with a very interesting thought to ponder on. Now, don't you find it interesting that the collective unconscious is in fact the abode of Satan, reptilians, the low astral, etc.? Don't you find that interesting? Enjoy and please comment, and I'll finish off with a very nice quote from Edgar Cayce. And I quote, "The spiritual force of selfishness is the false god referred to as Satan. It is the collective unconscious rebellion of humanity against God."